Such a blatantly astroturf from the top down attack that the boycott form letters from SEIU and Van Jones Group, they're actually the same. It's weird, isn't it? Is it a coincidence that all of the above are or were advisors to the president? By the way, he was an advisor to the president, and now he's with George Soros's group. Is it possible that maybe by pointing out every night that there are radicals, Marxists, and communists in the White House, maybe that struck a nerve? Has someone decided that they must destroy my career and silence me because we've stumbled onto something? Here's just another attack we found out moments ago from the president of the AFL-CIO. Don't have a picture of him because this just came in. AFL-CIO. Unions. Don't have an advisor to the president. Union. Richard Trumka. This from prepared remarks he's going to give tonight at the Harvard Club. Quote, so now a lot of Americans are angry, and we should be angry. And we've just seen throughout history there are plenty of purveyors of hate and division looking for profit from our hurt and our anger. He goes on to say, we're working to counter the Glenn Beck effect and turn our anger into action for real change. Did you say that? You! Oh, I love these union guys. They're the best. And in all of the attacks on me, which nearly always involve angry, hateful rhetoric, or, you know, he's crazy, in all of these we've seen not one has ever mentioned the White House let him go. And now he's working for George Soros. But also never mentioned that he's a communist. Jim Wallace, not one. Nobody has ever mentioned, no, Glenn Beck's got it wrong. He's not a Marxist. Andy Stern, not a radical 1960s guy from SDS. Never mentioned that one. See, wouldn't it be easy to disprove these things? You know, from the rantings of a crazy man, if they were untrue? I think so. It'd be a lot easier than coordinating from the Oval Office or from the White House, or maybe he doesn't know. I'm sure that's very, very possible. Wouldn't it be easier just to say, no, that's not true, and here's the evidence, than coordinating an attack? Sure be cheaper. They can't do that because the facts reveal otherwise. Their own words. I never said they said things. I played them on tape. Truth is not hateful rhetoric. Jim Wallace, Andy Stern, Van Jones, none of them could come on this show and disavow redistribution of wealth or embrace the American free market principles that built this country. They can't come on this show and accept that charity comes from individuals or church groups, not the government. Is it possible, then, that the White House has absolutely no knowledge, no involvement in these boycotts whatsoever? Has there ever been a case in American history, outside of the hardcore radical progressive Woodrow Wilson, where an American president administration tried to destroy the livelihood of a private citizen with whom they disagree? Can't think of any. Much has been made over the years, and rightly so, of Richard Nixon's enemies list. It's been chronicled over and over again by the mainstream media. But isn't this the same thing? Where's the media? Do the rest of you in this business think it's going to stop with me? Really? Once they get me, what happens to you? Is there absolutely no chance whatsoever that you might be a target at some point in the future? What is that poem, First They Came for the Jews and I Stayed Silent? Next, I'll show you the very latest attacks on me. These are actually kind of funny. I'll show you how they're really going for the jugular now. Next. Soros over here. Today is a very special anti-Glenn Beck day. In addition to the White House advisor-led boycotts, here, here, and here. Oh, and now AFL-CIO is in it. I didn't have a picture of the guy, but he looked angry. Thanks to Jim Wallace stoking the flames and bearing false witness against his neighbor, me, today was Send an Anti-Glenn Beck Haiku Day on Twitter. You have no idea how hateful a haiku can be if it's in the hands of the wrong people. To give you some sort of inkling of the anguish this has caused me, I will share a few of the haiku attacks. Here's the first one. And Jesus said to all his hungry disciples, hands off my fish, chumps. And another. It is so quiet, except of course for Glenn Beck. He's never quiet. Who would release such vicious vitriol? Surprisingly enough, it's a religious group, a group called the Jewish Funds for Justice. It's ironic. It really is. Barack Obama and his administration continue to obliterate our relationship with one of our closest allies, Israel, and I'm attacked by a Jewish group as I continue to vehemently support and defend Israel. But anyway, when you look at with, whom the Jewish Funds for Justice are partnered, it does become just a little bit easier to understand. Acorn, hey, AFL-CIO, aren't these? That's weird. That's the same. Center for American Progress, that's George Soros. That is weird. And then, of course, the Interfaith Worker Justice and progressive Christians, progressive clergy, progressive... It's so progressive, isn't it? It's great. It's almost like you and I are really close to hitting home. I think we're making progress. We're onto them. This is their progressive AstroTurf way of doing something about it, because this is the way this guy does this. We will resist the total transformation of our country, but we will do it peacefully. Yes. People did that under him, and people did that here. Well, not so much, because the people who are in his administration hated this guy, and they didn't resist peacefully. They were setting bombs off. But we will resist peacefully. I have to tell you the truth. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. I can't believe. I mean, if this was happening to Katie Couric, I would be standing up. You're kidding me. Somebody who has a differing opinion and the administration people are set out to destroy his career? Wow. But I want you to know, America, I'm going to come clean with you. This boycott has been devastating to me. It's been hell. It's been hell. In fact, you might read all about the devastation coming out on Friday on the cover of Forbes magazine. My career is in a wreck, and I have no problem being a capitalist and making money. It's weird how many people do nowadays. I've just always thought, if I make a good product and I'm honest in all of my business dealings, I'll be successful. But that boycott's sure devastating me. Okay. Sorry. I'm going to go. This morning on my radio program, you can find out all about it at glennbeck.com. I said I was going to start auctioning the original paintings. The original paintings were done by me and Paula Hawkins, and they are they're hanging in my office, and they are really spectacular. And I've decided to put them up for auction, and I'm going to do three separate things. First one, let me start with Hope, if I can. I'm going to auction off Hope for 828, which is on the mall at Lincoln, the Lincoln Memorial, August 28th, for the Special Warriors Foundation. Charity, I'm going to auction. Every dollar raised will go to John Huntsman's Huntsman Cancer Institute, because he's the most honorable man I know. And faith, I've decided to, I haven't decided how I'm going to pick it, but it'll be a church or a faith that most demonstrates social justice as Jesus intended. You can bid on these things at charityfolks.com. See, this is the way charity. I decide to do my work and give it to somebody else. It's weird. Back in a minute. Let everybody know the mantra. Use truth as your anvil and nonviolence as your hammer. And anything that doesn't stand the test when it is brought to the anvil of truth and hammered with nonviolence, reject it. We'll see you tomorrow from New York. Good night, America.